Hi all, Ben here from East West, bringing you video number 11 in our Python for Finance for Python Beginners series. Now, as always, we start here in our Utilities folder, which is a subfolder of our main Python codes folder, and from here we will start a new project by opening a new Jupyter notebook. So in this video, we will take a look at different ways to get stock codes. Now, getting a single code is easy enough, but eventually we will want to test our ideas across a wide range of stocks, and to do this we will need to pass a large number of stock codes through a loop or a function. Now, we have already touched on loops, but we will be constructing larger loops in future videos. So for now, we're going to concentrate on creating lists that contain stock codes. So I'll start here as always by filling out the code headings and descriptions and importing the libraries we will be using. Here we're going to import a new library, which is OpenPyXL, as well as Pandas and YFinance. So method one is to just find a list of stock codes from the internet. Now, there are naturally many different sources that you could access, but not all of them will let you gather code information from their website. So in our first example, we will simply access Wikipedia for our information. Now that we have the page open, we can go back to the code and simply create a new data frame and populate that data frame with the information. To do this, we type in df for the data frame equals pd.read_html, and then we open some brackets. Now we go back to the web page and we simply copy the address. Then we go back to our code and paste the address between the brackets, making sure that the text is contained within inverted commas. If we then run this cell and bring up the data frame, whilst we are getting the information into the program, it's not exactly in a user-friendly format. To counter this, we can add the number 0 at the end of the line of code between square brackets. Basically, the square bracket tells the code to download the HTML table as a data frame, and the 0 tells the code to download the first table. If you scroll down through that web page, there are actually two tables on the page. From here, we need to extract the data frame column that contains the stock codes and convert these to a list. So for our purposes, working with lists will be the easiest format. So to create this list, we need to type in the name of the list that we want to create. In this case, I've just used the name SP Tickers. And then we need to select the column of the information that we need to access. In this case, the data frame is df and the column we want is symbol. After this, we simply type in .to_list, and then we just insert an open and closed bracket. If we then add to this cell a request to bring up the list and then run the cell, we can see now that we have all the codes into a list. And then if we check the length of the list, we can see that we have 503 codes. Now, some of you may not trust the information from Wikipedia, and so may want to source your list from somewhere else. Now, many websites carry anti-bot access, and you may find that your preferred source is one of these. Here I have brought up a page for slickcharts.com, which also lists all 503 stocks in the S&P 500 index. However, when I copy the address from this page and try the same procedure as I did with Wikipedia, we are returned with an error that tells us HTTP error 403 forbidden. This means that the website is protected from any sort of bot interaction. We are now considered as a bot as we are using a program to access that data. Now, there are many ways we would work to get around this, but in keeping with the theme of simplicity, I will show you the simple workaround. All we need to do is to highlight the entire list and then paste it into an Excel spreadsheet. From here, I'd suggest a quick format by copying and pasting the values into a new sheet. Like this. And then once that's done, you can go ahead and delete the original sheet. Now we need to save the new sheet into either the desktop or a specific folder with the appropriate file name. So I've saved this file as SPX tickers in my desktop. So from here, it's simply a process of repeating the steps that we covered in the importing spreadsheet data program that we wrote back in video 6. We import the data from the saved spreadsheet and convert the appropriate column into a list. So as we step through to here, if we run this cell and then we bring up SPX tickers as our list, tickers as our list, then we have all the tickers in a list as we did from method 1. So there are two simple ways in which to import stock codes into a data frame and then converting that relevant data into a list. Now, as with pretty much all techniques that I've shown throughout this series, there's almost always a more efficient way to write code and produce the same result. But we are concentrating on keeping the process as simple as we begin to build our knowledge. Now we'll just look at how we change an entry into a list. So depending on where you get your information from, the codes that are downloaded may actually not be in a format that aligns with Yahoo Finance. Take for example here the ticker for Berkshire Hathaway. Now we've downloaded it from Wikipedia in the form brk.b. Now if we pass brk.b into our YF download function and run the cell, we are returned the error message no data found. This is because the actual code for Berkshire is not brk.b, but it's brk-b. Now there is one more example of this in the current list, and that's the code for Brown Forman, which in Yahoo Finance is listed as bf-b. Now Wikipedia has downloaded the code as bf.b, so that too needs to be changed. So doing this the long way around for beginners is slightly painful, but it's the best method that I know that works that I have on hand. Now again, there is almost certainly a more efficient way to code this procedure to get the same result, and hopefully you discover this for yourself in your coding journey. So we need to create a simple loop to go through the list and find the culprits that we know are incorrect and replace them with the correct codes. So we type in for I, the iteration, each instance, in the range of the length of the list SPX tickers, because that's the name of the list. Then we want to say if SPX tickers I is equal to brk.b. So we're saying as you go through each code in that list, if the instance of code that you're looking at is equal to brk.b, then the iteration or the instance of the entry brk.b should actually equal brk-b. So long way around, all we're saying is go through the list. If you find any entries that say brk.b, change them to brk-b. We know there's only one, but it will do it. And then we just need to do the same thing for bf.b. So once we run this cell, we can then call up our list again, and we can see here that brk.b is now brk-b. Now we can feed brk-b into Yahoo, and it happily downloads because that code is now correct. Now finally, if you would prefer, you can grab the information and change it on a spreadsheet. So basically what we need to do is reverse engineer the procedure we went through at the start of method 2. So to export a data frame to an Excel spreadsheet, we've got to use the to_Excel function that comes with the OpenPyXL library that we imported. So to do this, we need the data frame that we want to export, and in this instance we can just use the original data frame df. Then we need to type in .to_Excel open brackets. Now we need to tell the code where to save the spreadsheet to. So here I'd suggest going back up to the page where we assign the file path and copying that line of text. Now we just need to simply paste in the line of text between the brackets. Now we already have a spreadsheet called XPX Tickers, so we need to change the name to something that's unique. So let's just call this, it's a little bit confusing, but let's call this SP Tickers. So once this cell is run, whoops, sorry, I've just changed the name to SP Tick, or maybe we could even, SP Tick. We just run that cell. Now we can actually go into Excel and call up that spreadsheet. So you could go ahead and reformat the way that we suggested, but that's basically what we've downloaded in the data frame and transferred it into an Excel spreadsheet. So now any changes that you might want to make to any codes, if you want to add or remove codes, you can do it directly from Excel. All you've got to do then is save Excel, save the file, and then when you import that spreadsheet, if you're using that method that imports data from Excel, everything should be changed and the program should be ready to go. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.